We welcome everybody tonight. With no further delay, we'll turn it over to Shirley. I think she's got the topic for the evening, which is what's new in family search. And I think she's got some information that she gleaned from the RootsTech, and we'll be passing that along to us tonight.
I hope all of you were able to at least watch a little bit of RootsTech. Okay, can you see my, okay, I'm not sure what you can see here on my screen.
We're seeing what looks like your opening screen.
Okay.
Blue.
Okay, this is what I want.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so on RootsTech, if you want to see what classes are available, I've got it up here, but I've got a little you're sharing screen tab there, so I can't see what my tabs are. Anyway, you can go, let's see if it's that one right there. You can go to rootstech.org, and it shows you it shows you who the speakers are and all that. You can watch the keynote speakers, or I haven't looked at these other things, so I don't know what those are, but you can go to the classes and it tells you what the classes are, and you find one you like and you can click on it and watch it. I think this is to add it to your playlist or to save it to watch at a later date. So if you weren't able to see much of RootsTech, this is a good way to go back and do it. And they've got all kinds of really cool classes. I've just watched a few of them, but they were really good. Then another thing that they have is you can still do Roots, Find My Relative kind of thing by going to, this is familysearch.org/connect. And this shows you how many relatives you have at RootsTech, which I thought that was quite a bit. Anyway, you can click on, it shows you where all parts of the country that they are there. I don't know what this little thing is here. Anyway, so you can click on View My Relatives, and it shows you these relatives over here. There's my daughter and my other daughter. But you can look at these names and you can click on them and view your relationship, see how you're related. This is, I've never heard of those people, but this is through my grandmother, my maternal grandmother's line. So I thought that's kind of fun, that it shows you, you can see how you're related to it. You can send them a message if you want to, or contact them. And it lists all these people. Another thing, this way you can filter it, this is by location, but you can also do by ancestor. And this is my dad here. So there's only my brother and that's my dad. And then my two daughters are the only ones that are related to my dad directly, I guess. And then by family line, and that's where I'm, you can put in any person here that you want. So let's do, this is my grandmother. And so you can look at these and see how they're related. And again, you can click on it and look at the relationship. Oops, sorry. And, see how you're related. So that's pretty interesting. I'm glad they have kept this up so we can go back and look at it. And then there's another way also on your phone, on the Family Search app on your phone. When you open up the Family Search app, there right at the top of the screen, there's a blue section, and it says relatives at RootsTech or something, and you can click that on your telephone and see relatives at RootsTech as well. Okay, so I watched this video or this class that they gave that was things that are what's new on Family Search. And let's see, let's start with the opening page. What are you doing?
Just trying to get it moving.
Okay, so on the opening page, let's see, let me move that a little bit, see if I can move that. On the opening page, first of all, there's this toggle right here in the upper right-hand corner, right after where your sign-in is. And it says, try new homepage features. And this is something that they put on. You can take that off if you want. It changes your opening page, but I don't really know how much it changes it. I mean, I didn't see any big changes. But they say that that's how they release new, see, it doesn't look like it, the change on anything there, but they said that's how they release new new things that they want to try, like the beta version of things they want to try. And sometimes they just release it to a few people, like he said, as few as 10 people. And then other times they release it like to a whole area of the country or something like that to have people try it out and see if they like it. And then they have this over here on the left-hand side where it says feedback. And they want you to go in there and tell them what you think of that. And you can leave feedback on anything. If you don't like the way something's working, you can go and put feedback in and tell them why you don't like it and what you think they could do to make it better. And or if you do like it, you can go in there and say, I really love this new thing that you put on here. And they said when they redid the the person page that they made over 600 changes to because of things that people had said they liked or didn't like about it. So that's they do read those things and those comments, and they look, they look to see how they can improve things. Let's see. Another thing they did was the 1950 census. There it is. And you can get to this from familysearch.org/1950 census. And so what they did on the new things they did on this, of course, we know that this is the first big thing that they was computer generated and then reviewed by people. And so that was a big first for Family Search, but they've added some things to it. So let me put in a name here and so we can see what, this is my grandfather. So it comes up with okay, you have to choose who he is here. Let's see this. Okay, so it shows you over here on the side who you've chosen. That's the one I want. So let's see. I want to put that X. Oh, view the full page, of course. Duh. Okay. So you can see you can look at the census right there, but what they've done is you can click right here and it says view the record image. But what they've done is they've taken just the information from the 1950 census, because it asked a lot of different questions than in previous census records, and they've created little stories about them, about the person, to just, sometimes it's easier for people to connect better when they have a story sort of format to look at rather than just dates and numbers and things like that. So they've added things in here, like in 1950, he was listed as head of the household, white male, 65, married, born in North Dakota. And then you can find out, it says, what was John's life like in 1950? And so you can click here and find out a little bit more. And then it just gives other things. He lived through the war, through World War I. He lived through World War II.
I really think you should watch this.
Pardon me?
Sorry.
Oh, okay. And then just lots of little things here that, and all of this is just taken from the census record. Here's his family. And then you can claim that you're related to him. And when you click on that, then you can share this on social media. You could share it on Facebook and some of the other social media, or you can visit his page and family tree. I have him in my family tree, but if I didn't, there would be a link there to add him to the family tree. And then here's add more relatives, see your family grow. So I think this would be really neat if to show your grandkids or small children in your family, whatever, that, to let them read these stories about their grandparents, or, because John and I aren't on it yet. We weren't born until 51 and 52, but that'd be pretty cool to be able to show our grandkids that information. I think that'd be fun. Let's see. Another thing that they've added is in the search menu. If you click on the search right here and go to genealogies. A few years ago, about 5-6 years ago, they started this collecting the oral genealogies in Africa, and the church made a big deal about it. They opened a great big family search program, would you call it a program, where they had a lot of volunteers that went out and into the villages and whatever, and interviewed the people to get their, because in Africa and a lot of other countries, everything is done orally. Their records are, their family history records are kept orally. And so they went to collect some of these oral histories, and then Jim, you'll appreciate this, they put it on, had people that put it on Family Search. They, took those oral histories and published them, and then put them on Family Search as a family, the way we do our family trees. So you can look at those here. This is the oral genealogies. They're from all over the world, especially Africa and Oceania. Is that how you say that? Oceania. Mm-hmm. And you can view the trees if you want to. You can, if you have a name of somebody you're looking for, you can look for a person. But I thought that's cool that you can go in and read some of those things. Then they also have this computer generated trees. And this is, again, something that the computer has done. And they said it's mostly, I can't remember some of the countries. I think they said Australia. They've done a lot of it in Australia and some other small countries that they've, but that, if you're, and they said, to look up here, this for the oral genealogies, this is a high data accuracy. That means it's like it comes from the first person. So the accuracy is very high, but the computer generated then drops down to moderate accuracy. And then some of these other things have unknown accuracy, like this one is the Guild of One Name Studies. So a project that focuses on specific surnames and the people who have held them. So, but that's not, it's unknown accuracy, but it's still something that you might want to look at. And then some of these American ancestors, we've heard of those things before. Pedigree resource file and the ancestral file and IGI. These are all pre-family search data files, I guess. From years and years ago, we just used the IGI, and then they came up with ancestral file and then the pedigree resource file. So they had a lot of good information on it, but again, the accuracy is not very dependable all the time. So, and this was all under search and under genealogies. let's see. Okay, so if we go to the new person page, if you have any questions along the way, just go ahead and interrupt me. I don't mind at all. Okay, so this is the new person page. And over here, I don't know if any of you've noticed that, but it says you can use the previous version of this. So if you don't like the way this looks, you can go back and use the old one. So I don't think a whole lot of it, I mean, the look of it didn't change a whole lot, I don't think. I mean, it did some, of course, but it wasn't enough to throw me off, really. So
Shirley, the
Yes.
old page is going to be going away.
oh, that's probably true, yeah.
And I have found some differences, although minor, with the new pages. I enjoy arranging the sources by census year. And the last time I tried to do it, it wouldn't allow me to do it on the new page. Maybe they'll add those things later. I don't know. Have you used the new page?
I've been using it. Yeah, I haven't tried to move things around like that though, but you could put that in the feedback and tell them that that's something you'd really like to be able to do.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, one thing that is on the new feed, the new, not feedback, but the new page, the new person page, they've added these things down here where you can add a brief life history. I haven't done that, but of course this is my own thing, so my own page. But you can add that in. Other information is one that's, I thought this was kind of neat. If you, well, you can, of course, you have alternate names and things here. I'll show you something. I went to, well, let me finish doing this first, and then I'll show you something else. Other relationships. This is one I thought was interesting. Whoops, I'm sorry. You can add relationships, like if you were, you open up this drop-down thing, and it says like apprentice, employment, enslavement. So like if you were African-American, you could do enslavement and put in who their owner was or whatever, and start a relationship page there so other people can look at that and see where you came from. Or you could choose any of these things. I don't know if you can do something that's not on this list or not, but I thought that was interesting that they'll let you do that. And then I don't know if there's a place where you can add notes about it or whatever. I guess if you went ahead and added something there, that might open up a new thing to let you add notes. So I was going to show you something on, this is my son. And I put in here for other information. I put an alternate name for him is Andy. We call him Andy all the time. So there is, let's see. Oh, you can tag this source. And I've already done this. I tried to figure out how to get rid of it so I could do that. But I have his name is Andy. I guess I should put up here, also known as Andy. But anyway, when I tagged it, I clicked this tag sources over here, and it automatically put his one source in here. So if you had more sources, it would have put all the sources in there. So that would come in handy if you're see, if you're working with somebody and you can get it to, oh, here's where you do it. So you can get it to add the sources right here on the side. So if you're looking at somebody that had a lot of sources, then you could keep their page open and still look at the sources here instead of having to go back and forth from source to, to look at the pages and whatever. I don't know if I have somebody with more sources, it wouldn't be too hard to get to.
Do that again, please. I'm not sure what you meant by showing the sources on an individual that you're not on their page. Could you do that again, please?
Sure. Okay, so on the new page, you can come down here to tools, and under sources, if you click sources, see this, this is John's dad. We've got 10 sources in there for him. So if you click that, then it adds the source, shows the sources on the side here on this, on a sidebar. Can you see that? Maybe it's under your pictures. I mean, under your, the.
Yes, I see that now. I see that. So what it's doing is just going directly to the list of sources,
Right.
as where the old page only listed the first 3 sources that you had added, and you had to click another button to get all of the sources. But
Right.
this is going to show you all the now. See if you can arrange those. See, there's a little arrow there to the right. Yes.
Yeah, that opens it so you can look at.
But it won't
doesn't
move
seem
it.
to let me. It doesn't seem to let me move it. No. So another thing in that tools while we're there.
Shirley,
Yes.
if you're looking at those sources, the ones down at the bottom didn't have dates. But okay, go on down, but it has the ad. So I think you could put a date on those, and that would arrange them, well, at least chronologically.
Yeah. Let's see.
You mean, but on the old page, it doesn't really list them chronologically. You can.
No, but again, you could add the date on the old page, because I do that all the time.
You on the old page, you add dates.
Yeah.
Well, but okay, I understand, but what is it, something like what we're looking at now, like it says web page? Is
Yeah,
that
you just add the date and then it puts them in chronological order.
what date are you putting in for a web page?
Well, it depends on what the record is. If it's a marriage record, I put the marriage date.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for showing that. Okay, this is on the new page, and the old page, I don't think these are here, this little tool box, but you can change the layout setting on it. And this refers to over here on the details under the vitals. And you can make it a double column. See how this has the name here and then the sex and then the birth and christening. But if you don't like that, you can change it to a single column, and you've got them all in a single column instead. I don't know what difference it makes. And some people, I guess, just like it organized differently. So, but that's one of the new changes that they've made. Let's see, and then you can also show what things you want to decide on, what things you want to show. That here you can move things around, like if you can move the family members down at the bottom, and that changes it so that you have the history and the other information up here at the top, and then the family stuff down there. Or you can take it off, I guess. Can you take it off? I think, well, maybe you can't, I don't know. But anyway, that's a new thing. So if you, I guess, I don't know why the double, I guess it just takes up less space, maybe. I don't know. I mean, those are little changes. I didn't feel like, made a lot.
Shirley, I was in a class once with Ron Tanner, who's in charge of development of web sources on Family Search. And he was saying at the time, this has been several years ago, but he was saying he was trying to get less things to put on the page because it takes longer to load them when you have a lot. So that might be a factor, how long it takes you to load, or let's say you had a really slow internet connection, or even I don't know if anybody even has dial-up anymore, but if you had a real slow dial-up connection, you might just want to put a single column up so it would load faster.
Okay, I hadn't thought of that. That's probably good. Okay, another thing they've added is print options. So now you can print person detail, pedigree, portrait pedigree, fan chart, family group record with sources, and you can open those up and you can decide what you want to include. If you just want the straight family group sheet, you can do that. I mean, this is a pedigree, not a pedigree chart, a family group sheet, that's right. You can do that, or you can add these other things and print it up like that. Or how do I get back to the other? Let's see. Well, I don't know how to get back. Oops, didn't want to do that. My tab's all covered up here. There we go.
Oh, I was gonna say, you're in the print screen is why
Right.
you can't go back. Yeah.
Right. So I was looking for how to get out of the print screen, but my tab was covering that up there. Okay, so you can do that on all of these, on the pedigree, on the, this is a pedigree we're all familiar with, pedigree chart. But you can print those things now. Could you print them before? I've never tried to print anything from Family Search before, but I don't think you could.
Yeah, you could.
You could. You
Yeah.
could print pedigree charts and group sheets and a couple of other little things.
Okay.
It looks like they've added a couple things than what they used to have.
Okay.
They've expanded the selection, it looks like.
Okay. Another thing they added is this about. Have you guys checked that out before? Again, they take the information that is from your, I guess, from your details and everything and kind of put it in story form for you. So here's a brief history of John's dad, and then here's a timeline with some pictures and stuff in, and then here are pictures from the
Awesome.
and then
Microphone is on. Mine? Yes.
is there a question or? Nope. Okay. Let's see. So I thought that was kind of neat. Again, if this is a good way to get the grandkids involved or to make it a little more interesting for them. Another thing they've done is they've added a way for you to filter your memories. So you click on the filter here and it shows you these other things that you can choose which things you want to do. I guess I don't have any stories in there. And then you can sort them by these things. These don't have, a lot of them don't have dates on them. I need to go in and put those dates in. But you can sort them by the newest added, or if I had dates, I could put the dates in there. But that's kind of interesting to be able to do that. Be able to sort those things like that. Let's see, talked about that, talked about the tools. Another thing they changed, or they didn't change, they added, I guess. Let's see, let's go to the details again. When you go to the family tree, let me go back to mine. When you go to the family tree, you can now, in Asian countries, they don't do their family tree. They don't set it up by like starting with them and then working back, but they do what's called the first ancestor. You probably all know this already. So they've added this on the pedigree page here on the tree, where you can add first ancestor. And this way, this goes back, on mine, I just added the farthest back that's my maiden name that was in there, and his wife is there. And then so it shows how it comes down to me and then my children here. That's not that many generations, but anyway, for the Asian people, it works really well, because they start with the oldest person that they know of and then work forward instead of backwards. And also they said that when especially for the Asian countries, that the startup page looks a lot different than it does for us. So if you happen to be in Japan or something and went to look on Family Search, it would look a lot different than the starting page anyway, would look a lot different. But are there any questions on any of this? No? Okay. Let's see. I wanted to show you something. They've got something coming up. It's something I know we all are anxious. We'll all be anxious to see this come up. It's I'll just play this for you and see and let you.
Shirley, we're not getting any sound with him.
You're not.
I think you have to click a special button.
What button do I have to click? Do you know?
So at the very beginning, you're the one that taught me this. Something about whenever you share your screen originally, you click share sound. So I don't know if there's another way to find it or not.
Okay, let me stop sharing and then I'll go back and share again.
There's a special little button, but I don't remember what it is.
Oh, share sound right there.
Ah, good.
All right.
Deceased from the living.
Can you
All the deceased are publicly seen. Everybody can see that. Everybody can change it. But the people who are living, if I enter in my children, for instance, only I can see them. And this is a problem, because currently my brother is unable to see me and I can't see my brother. Not only that, I can't see my brother's children, and we so would like to be able to see each other. Right now, if there's a birth in the family, every one of my siblings puts in that living birth into their private area of their tree over and over again. And so it creates a real issue of not being able to go and connect really easily. So one of the most requested features is to be able to share those living trees with those in our family. We've had the family group functionality for about a year and a half now, which allows you to message, share memories to those in your family group, share ordinances. So later on this year, we'll be releasing the next phase of family groups, and that is to be able to share the living information. No longer when somebody is born into the family will everybody have to add that person into their own private area of their tree. With shared family trees, it's going to be, you're going to only need to enter at one time if they're in the family group. It not only doesn't just stop with that, but in the future, it goes with memories, with photos, with stories, to be able to build a collaborative space for us to work together, not just work together, but to be able to go and collaborate with those that we love. Right now, my family does this on Instagram and Facebook, which can be pretty toxic for children, especially. We'd like to change that. And so we're going to be moving in this area to be able to go and fully collaborate about what's going on with our families in this family space. So really quickly, I'm going to walk through, again, a little bit of a journey that you go on to create a family group and then to be able to create a tree. So the first thing is, under where your name is, click down where those controls are and click on family groups. First thing that comes up is family group, create the group. If there's other groups that you've already created, they'll be there also. So we create the group. So I created a group for all of us to be in because we're all family. It's the RootsTech 2023 class group. It's everybody in the room. Little note, we've added the new addition, be considerate and communicate kindly as we work together in the room. And the next thing we do is we ask you to give us the permission to do this. That's the legal part. Then we go and click on the create group. So you see it's been created. I can view the group as the administrator who just created it by clicking there. And you'll see that we have all sorts of controls for the administrator to be able to go and help people. You can assign other administrators. You can invite other people through email, by sending a link to them, by sending a text. Once you have that link, you're good to go. So I'm not going to walk through how you invite people because all it is get the link, send it to who you want to invite. Has a little bit of a statement about what the group rules are, et cetera, et cetera. So let's go and create or flip to the other view and see, well, what do people see? What does it look like from the user point of view? From the tree view, a new control will be added that's off to the left there that shows you what tree you're looking at, okay? If you click down on that, if you drag down on that control, it will show you the various trees that are available for you or that you're a member of. I created one with Todd and I, my cousin, the RootsTech one that we just created, and the last one is my tree that I've been looking, my own private tree that I've been looking at for years. So what that implies is that my private tree that I have on in my view, my standard view that you all see when you're using the system, doesn't go away. It stays there. Use it or not. What it does is it takes information that you want to share from your tree, your private space, and takes it and moves it over into this new shared family tree. So here's the one we just created. If you click on, by the way, if you go from the RootsTech tree and you say, okay, I'm going to click on that, this is how you go and add data to it. You can copy just yourself. So pretend for an instant, the reason why we have just yourself, pretend for an instance that my brother already created a tree. I don't want to repopulate that and put duplicates in this new shared family tree. I just want to add myself. Another option is to copy select people. I don't have to put everybody in there. Copy select. Or if I do want to copy all my private people that I've had, I can do that and press that button. So 3 options, choose your option and hit return. So in this case, I copied all the people, all my private people into the tree. And here's what it's done. It's taken the people who were in my old tree, my standard tree, I shouldn't say old, but in my standard private tree, and it's taken a copy of each one of those people and put over there into the new area, which is the shared tree, so that me and you, my brother, can see the thing. So that's just a little bit about how this is actually going to work. The people who were once only viewable by me now have been copied, and I've shared that information. They can edit it, invite the people you want more, grow the tree, people being in there. It's a good thing. And again, it will have no effect on what you have in your own private space, just a copy. As you see, we have touched on just a few things that we are trying to help you with in doing your family history, to be able to connect and unite. I invite you again to stop by the booth in the expo hall and talk to the designers, the engineers.
Okay, so did that help anybody to, I can't get my mind quite around how they're going to do that, but I mean, I can sort of understand it, but when he's started talking about some of those things, it didn't kind of make a lot of sense to me.
Shirley,
Uh-huh.
that little thing right there has been worth the price of admission tonight.
Yeah,
This helps both me and both of my sisters. Now, if you know me and she is on, all one of her, we just had this discussion about why I had one number for her and she had another number for her. This is going to help us clean that little thing up. And I've gotten into this, and I know Karen has too with other people, where you have duplicates of
If
living people.
I do have a question. If they keep that private, if they keep that section private for the living, how is it that then that you find people that are related or associated with your family? I mean, you can find all of the deceased ancestors and go back through them to get.
You mean like the Cousin Connect?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a really good question, John.
thank you. Finally, I came up with one.
Repeat all that. Wait a minute. Repeat all that. I wasn't following.
Well, you need to listen, Karen. I'm sorry. I was wondering if you have that section private that for the living, and you continue to add to that and so forth. Is there any way? I mean, there's no way you can use that through Family Search to find the Cousin Connect, like Jim mentioned. Unless it goes through your deceased ancestors, right? And that's the only way that you can connect is through the deceased, because that's the public sector.
does that make sense?
Does that make sense to you?
Karen, you're muted if you're.
Karen's on mute.
I know I was trying to listen, John, I promise. I'm not, I know, that's okay. Just go on. I'm not sure what you're referring to, what
Well,
you're trying to do.
See, if you're connecting with a cousin, I still don't know that they could see all of your private information.
Well, I mean, you have to allow them to do that. Surely they're going to be a place for
Yeah.
you to allow.
Well, the family groups, I understand, but you don't know some of the cousins. I mean, that, I didn't know I had so many thousand cousins attending RootsTech.
Well, but no, they won't all be allowed to see your private, the
That's
living
right.
people. You will have to grant them permission. They'll have to be a member of your private group, just like
So
you.
you can't.
Do you
So you can't get everybody like you can theoretically with your deceased ancestors.
What?
Probably.
You look. You eventually you can add as many people as you want, unless they have a list or a number that they say, oh, you can only add 15 or 20 or 1,000 or something like that. You will be able to add anybody you want to see your data, but they won't automatically be able to see your living people data unless you give them permission.
I think the beauty of Family Search for me has been the harvesting of so many names that I have no clue how, I mean, there's ninth cousins twice removed. I
Right,
wouldn't ever found them,
right.
but I can see a relationship, when they put it up on the screen that I have with that person. So I can verify that, that indeed those are my relatives on that one side. And I have no reason to doubt that Family Search has come up with the match on the other side. But when you're working in the private end of it, like you say, Karen, you have to open it to the people that you're going to do it. And so you have to know who those people are.
Correct.
Family Search is not going to find them for you.
Well, let me ask you, John, have you set up a family group for your temple ordinances to share temple ordinances?
Shirley has. I haven't joined.
Okay, well, surely when you did that, you know that you had to request that, first of all, you had to submit a name for a person to be involved in your group. And then they had to accept your invitation, and then you had to accept their acceptance. So so it was a 3-step process. And I'm assuming, which you know what that does, but I'm assuming that that will be the same sort of situation it will be for anybody that you want to be able to see your private information. Now, I'm not sure, Shirley, maybe you know or don't know, when you allow people to see your private information, your children, your living relatives, will they also be able to see your temple ordinances that have been performed, not only for your deceased individuals, but for maybe just,
for the living people?
Yeah.
I don't think so, because you can't see that now, can you?
Oh, that's true. But you can, as a member, you can see the deceased individuals, what information, what ordinances. And I'm wondering if they're going to allow that also, because there's going to be people you'll want to add that are not members who perhaps you don't want to have that conversation with, or you want to at your own leisure.
Right.
So I'm wondering
I wonder if, when you set up your account, if you're not a member, you make that one of your choices not to see the church ordinance screen.
You can choose that?
I think so. Or maybe just if you're not a member, it just automatically assigns that to you.
I'm not sure you can choose that if you're not a member. I don't think you can.
Well, you can't get temple information if you sign on with a
non-member.
Without a member ID.
Okay, so that's going to be taken care of automatically.
I think so.
I think so.
All right.
But I don't know. That's one of those things we'll have to see how it turns out.
Well, they're sensitive to that kind of thing, so
yeah,
I'm sure they'll take care of it.
Yeah, they are. Well, are there any other questions or comments or?
I wanted to tell you, Shirley, that if you wanted to view somebody on the 1950 census, I am old enough to be on the census because I was born in 47. So.
Well, you should go and look at what stories they've written about you then.
I'm going to look up Jim so I can look at what stories they've made up about him.
That might be under the private category, John.
Yeah.
Well, no, that would, I think, yes, please do that, because that might kind of answer your question, because at the moment I'm still alive, and it would be interesting to see what they do have on me, and it might be different than if I look at it versus you look at it. That's a good point. I may go see about me too.
But Jim, won't your memories all be there even if you're alive, unless you mark them private?
Oh, my memory is already going, Karen.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I
there.
mean,
Yes, they will stay, but you may have
no,
missed
I'm not talking about if someone passes. I'm talking about a living person, if a living person, this is shit your journey, puts a memory in Family Search, if you do not mark it private, it will be available to anybody who wants to look.
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay.
That is. But you may have missed it at the beginning. Shirley showed something on the 1950 census where it writes a story about you. That's about when you came in, I think. And that'll be real interesting to go look at.
Well, does anybody have any topic they'd like to discuss next time? Maybe an area where you're doing research? Brother Leith, where are you and your wife doing research? What countries or whatever is your research taking you?
Most of my relatives are from Europe, so that's where all my research goes to. Now, we had a visitor yesterday who wanted to find information from I forgot, one of the Far Eastern countries there in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
not Czechoslovakia, but something like that. Anyways, he was looking at some wills that were in a different language and wondering how to translate to what he was seeing, and I couldn't help him.
Yeah. We had a guy in a couple of weeks ago. Where was he from?
I was still trying to remember.
Yeah, but from that part of the country. Maybe it was the same. It's the same. He was kind of young.
No, this guy was 45 or 50.
No,
Yeah,
it
he
wasn't
was,
the
yeah,
same.
he was younger
Yeah,
than
he
that.
was like early 30s or late 20s. But he didn't have any records. He wanted to look for records.
Yeah.
We looked and we couldn't find any records at all for the country he was from.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you look on Cindy's list, I think it would tell you somebody who would translate various languages. Also, if you call the Salt Lake Family History Center, the big one, they
That's-
would probably.
That's what we gave him, was that number to call.
Okay. Did
and to
he,
find
was
the
he
country.
able to do that?
He hasn't come back in, so we don't know.
Well, I was just talking about the translation of a document, not just finding a document, which of course they can help with that too.
Right.
Yeah, and they have the Family History Library, Family Search Library. You all know the name has changed to Family Search now, Family Search Libraries.
Yeah.
In Salt Lake, you know, they have webinars. They've quit them since Christmas, I think, because they were preparing for RootsTech, but they're going to start up again in April. And you can find out what those are by going to FHC classes at familysearch.org. Or they're on Facebook too. You can go to Facebook and just do facebook.com/family search library, and they have recordings of other things that they've done. But I know they, last year before they quit doing them, they were having classes on different research, doing research in different countries, like some of those Middle Eastern countries and stuff. So that's, I don't know if you're interested in that, you can do that. Those classes that they do are real good. They're Zoom classes, and they usually just last an hour, and they've got them on all kinds of things from beginning, you know, a beginner family search user to all the way to doing Jewish research, or, you know, just all kinds of varied things. So those are real good. I wanted to let you know about those. So anyway, well, we'll go ahead and close then. If you, I recommend you go and look at RootsTech and see if there's any classes you might be interested in. They had some really good ones, some really interesting ones, I thought.